Welcome to the Manifest Your Career podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Norma Reyes, a Latina career and life coach. With this podcast, I help successful women learn how to combine their intuition and logic so that they can manifest their dream career. By listening to my podcast, you'll learn how to go from feeling stuck and lost on what to do next to having the clarity, motivation, and strategies to manifest the career of your dreams. Each episode, I'll teach you the skills, strategies, and mindset you need, girl, to get in alignment with your career goals. Now let's go ahead and get started. Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 7, and today I will be talking to you about whether you should stop applying to jobs. I'm going to give you 3 tips, 3 ways to know whether you should stop applying for jobs or not. This is for the person who has either been trying to switch career fields, who is just trying to enter the job field, or maybe you're looking for a promotion. Now, how to apply to jobs, that'll be a different episode for you guys to listen to later. But this is the one for those that have been applying and have not heard back, especially right now. We are in the middle of this pandemic, or hopefully at the end now, because yes, COVID quarantine has just been next level for everyone. So now back to the topic. Tip number 1, if you have been applying to every single job under the sun, take a break, because that is not how you look for your next job. That is going to lead to so many things, so many negative impacts for you that would be a whole other episode for itself. But I'm going to keep it as short as possible. I understand that you can feel desperate. And so you start feeling like, I need to apply for every job, especially if you lost your job and you haven't been able to pay your bills, or you absolutely hate your job and you just want to cry every time you have to go into work, or you just want to be at any other job but your current job. Well, by applying to every single job and not really taking time to really decide if that job opportunity is for you, what you're creating is this space to feel fatigued, to feel unworthy, to feel like nobody else wants you, and to feel hopeless. And remember, as I mentioned before with my first episode, is if you do not have hope, you cannot believe that anything will ever change. So by applying to every single job and getting that fatigue, you're adding to that feeling of hopelessness. Now, I'll tell you, I've done this and it is exhausting. I applied for jobs for about 2 years when I was in a role that I wasn't that interested in anymore. And I really wanted to move into higher education. I kept hearing from people to apply to entry-level positions, which I absolutely did not do because I did not want to take a pay cut, and I could not take a pay cut. And I'm glad that I didn't. But in that time, for those 2 years, it was very exhausting, very demoralizing. I just felt like I don't know what to do next. And then I took a break. I literally took a break. And every time I say this story, it just makes me laugh to think about this. I decided that's it. I'm done. And so that's what you need to do. You need to take a break. And hopefully you haven't gotten to the point where you are so exhausted like I was after 2 years of applying and not getting a single offer, is to take a break, even if it's just for a few days, and really evaluate what it is that you want. What type of job are you looking for? And what is the reason for the move? For myself, I wanted to go into higher education. I believed it was the direction I wanted to go in. And I also wanted out from the field I was in, the company I was working for. I really just didn't want to be in there anymore. Well, I took a pause And in that pause, literally, like within that same week, I was just so surprised that as soon as I told myself I'm done, and really it was like telling the universe, all right, I'm open to whatever it is that you're going to send me. Send me whatever it is, God. It's up to you, right? I let go of the wheel. I decided to no longer be in control of every situation there. And when I did, I still can't believe it. I got 3 phone calls from 3 different recruiters asking me if I was interested in a role for a corporation in San Antonio that at the time, I don't even remember if it was, but now it's a Fortune 500 company. And my instinct was like, oh no, I've heard people say that it's horrible to work there. So I don't want to, right? I just ignored it. I don't want to go work for somewhere else where it's just going to be the same thing. And so I ignored it until I realized, okay, I can't just close this door on myself. Why are these 3 people calling me all of a sudden? And so I called one, they didn't answer, so I left a message. And then I got a phone call. It was the 3rd one. And I answered. It was a lady, and she was asking me if I was interested in applying. And I told her my concerns, and here was her advice, which I thoroughly appreciate. She said that she herself was in a new company because she didn't like a certain place, but there's other coworkers of hers that still worked at the old company and they really liked it. And so she suggested, why don't I just give it a try? And that if I didn't like it, she would help me find another job. Now, would she have? I don't know, but I took that chance. I took the good part of that advice, right? That she said I just try it out. And so I did. And when I did, I applied, I followed her coaching, I went in, I had the interview. When I walked into the interview, it turns out that there was 3 positions open. They're like, well, you're in a unique position. You're actually being interviewed for 3 positions. So it switched from applying to 1 to 3. And I was just like mind blown. And I said, okay, all right, now I have to be able to get at least one of these positions. And I did, thankfully. And I have to say, within 6 months, I was recognized. And what I wanted to do with my old job was move into leadership. And I just didn't think I had the opportunity for a lot of factors there. And, within 6 months, it was recognized. And within 10 months, I was promoted. And it was just that leap of faith, that letting go and really taking a break from what it was I thought I wanted to do and just stopping from running away and just pausing. So the next reason, or the next tip on why you should stop applying to every single job that you see, is if you start obsessing. If you start looking at every single job board possible. If you start, getting on Indeed, Monster, you have some crazy spreadsheet going. If you are just living and breathing, applying for jobs, take a break, even if it's just for a few days. Let your mind breathe. Let your higher self send you a message on what to do next. Stop moving from your ego, because all of that is ego. All of that is you trying to be in control of every single thing. If you are diligently looking at every single company that you're applying to and every single position that you're applying to, every single detail, if you're obsessing with all of those and you haven't even received any interviews, that's when you know you really need to take a break, because that's something you should do after the fact. And if you have to research every single one all the time, you may just overexhaust yourself in ways that you just don't want to. You may confuse yourself too. If you get a job interview and opportunity, you may find you're not going to remember which company it was that said XYZ. So it's important to just apply to those positions that really excite you, for those companies that you align with their core standards and calls to you. That way, when you apply, you have that great energy. And then when you interview, you have that great energy continuing. And if you are offered or not offered, you still have that great energy knowing that you gave it your all and that whatever outcome happens was meant to be. And you are following the path you need to go. There's no need to constantly exhaust yourself trying to figure that out. Take it slower. So another time for you to pause, take a break, is if you're advancing, but you're not getting offers. This one can be the most frustrating and most obvious. The signs of go big or go home. You are landing interviews, but no one is calling you back. No one is telling you that they're interested or you are a finalist, and then crickets. This is also if you keep stalling at the same point. For example, you make it past the application process and you make it to the next step, which might be a phone screening, or you make it to the first interview, but not the second interview. So you really need to take a break and a pause to figure out what's going on. What is that missing piece? And really, you may not even be doing anything wrong. It's just not the right time for you to move. And I know that's not something that you want to hear. And I know that can be very, very frustrating. But, it goes back to my example where I was exhausted. It was 2 years of constantly applying and looking at positions that I thought I was a good fit for, where I wanted my career to go, only to finally just give up the control, not giving up on my career or my life, just allowing for things to happen for me versus making things happen for me. There's a big difference there. When you allow things to come to you, that is allowing God to do his work. Or if you prefer saying the universe, whatever works for you, it's all the same thing. When you have your hands open, instead of in a fist and frustrated with the situation, you receive what is meant for you. Those are the 3 times that you should really take a break and a pause from applying for job after job after job. That is all for today, guys. I look forward to hearing your comments on this episode. Send me a DM, leave me a review. Till the next one, guys. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the Manifest Your Career podcast with me, your host, Dr. Norma Reyes, a Latina career and life coach.